The sharp crack of the shouted accusation sliced through the dining room like a whip. Forks froze mid-air. Jaws dropped. The aroma of jollof rice and grilled tilapia turned sour as every eye swung toward the one man who looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him whole. It was Belanal, 42, respected in his Lagos neighborhood, husband of 18 years, now trembling as his wife, Damilola, stood over him with a shaking hand pointing directly at his face. "What would you do?" the narrator's voice boomed, "if your spouse confessed something like this at your own family dinner? Hit like if you've ever experienced betrayal, and comment below where you're watching from." A beat passed. This isn't what you think," Belanal stammered, sweating, shifting in his seat. "Oh, so now I don't think well," Damilola shouted, her gelly slipping sideways as she lunged toward him. "Tell them, Belanal. Tell your mother, tell your brother, tell everybody sitting here what that woman called me this morning." Gasps. Shuffling chairs. Someone whispered, "Oh Laura, no," under their breath. Before the next explosion, the warm, familiar narrator's tone cut in smoothly. "Welcome back to Stories Under Festona, the home of heart-pounding African family dramas. Thank you all for the massive love and support. Make sure you drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Now, let's get back to today's story." The tension returned instantly. Belanal's mother, Eunice, tightened her wrapper and glared at her son. "Which woman? Which foolishness again, Belanal? Talk before I disgrace you myself." Belanal swallowed hard. He looked around at the faces, his brother Deli, his teenage daughter Kemi, his nephew Folu, even old Uncle Gideon who barely heard anything unless people shouted. Yet tonight, Gideon was hearing everything. Damilola slammed her phone on the table. "That your mistress? Yes, Belanal, your mistress, called me to inform me that you promised her this family house. Our home. The one my own father helped us secure when we married." Eunice gasped so loudly that it rattled the plates. Deli shook his head. "Brothers, tell me this is a stupid prank." But it wasn't. And everyone knew it the second they saw the defeat in Belanal's eyes. Damilola continued, voice cracking with rage, grief, humiliation, all mixed into one dangerous storm. "She said you told her, 'Don't worry, once Dami is gone, the house will be ours.' Ours. Belanal. Ours." Kemi covered her face in shame. "Daddy, how could you?" Even the ceiling fan seemed to slow down to listen. "I didn't mean it," Belanal whispered. "You did mean it," Damilola fired back. "And after everything I've sacrificed for you. After nursing your mother when she fell ill. After supporting your failing business. After raising your children with nothing but love. And this is my reward." Her voice cracked, then steadied with ice. "But that's not even the worst part. Tell them what you really inherited yesterday." Silence fell like a hammer. Belanal's shoulders slumped. He rubbed his forehead, avoiding everyone's stare. "Dami, please. Not here." "No," she snapped. "Right here. Right now." Eunice leaned forward. "What did he inherit?" Damilola's laughter was cold. "An abandoned car." Everyone looked confused. "A what?" Folu asked. "A useless, rusted, good-for-nothing abandoned car left parked behind one mechanic shop in Mushin. That is what his late cousin left him. And instead of selling it or discarding it, this man, this husband I trusted, has spent months sneaking out to inspect it." The room buzzed with whispers. Deli frowned. "Brothers, what's inside that car that you're hiding?" Belanal's heartbeat thundered in his ears. He lifted his head, staring at his wife for a long moment before muttering, "It's complicated." "Complicated." Damilola shrieked again. "You are using our family money to manage a scrap of metal and lying about where you go at night. How many times have you told me you were working late? How many times have you told the children you were in a meeting?" Lies upon lies. The shame hit him like a blow. "I wasn't cheating," he whispered. "Not with her. Not anymore." His voice trembled. I I was going to tell you everything. But not like this. Damalola laughed bitterly. Tell me everything? You can't even look at me without guilt choking you. Eunice hissed. Belanal, did you truly promise another woman this house? He looked up, defeated. I didn't mean it, Mama. So you did say it, she fired back. Everyone erupted again. Gideon slapped the table. This is disgraceful, Belanal. Your cousin left you a car, fine. But you let that become the source of infidelity? The devil is dancing a zonto on your head. Damalola's voice softened, but only slightly. What is inside that car, Belanal? Why does it matter more to you than your family? Now the room froze. Completely. Utterly. Belanal hesitated too long. Far too long. And that hesitation was the beginning of everything. He stood from the table, pacing with nervous energy. Look, the car. The car is not what you think. So what is it? Stolen. Haunted. Holding drugs. What, Belanal? Damalola pushed. He didn't answer. His silence was louder than a shout. Deli stood up too. Brother, if you don't talk now, this whole family will believe the worst. Belanal wiped his forehead again. His voice dropped. If I talk, everything you think you know about my cousin, about my past, about me, will change. Eunice stiffened. Speak in plain language. I said I will explain later, he snapped, then instantly regretted raising his voice at his mother. Damalola scoffed. You've explained later for 6 months. And now that I know you gave another woman hope of replacing me, you still think you can hide the truth. Kemi spoke quietly, her voice trembling. Daddy, are we safe? That hit him hard. You're safe, he said quickly. Nothing inside that car can hurt any of you. But it can hurt you? Gideon asked, eyes narrowing. Belanal's jaw tightened. I didn't say that. You didn't have to, Damalola said, stepping back with realization flooding her face. You're afraid. He looked away. And then she understood something deeper. You're not afraid of losing me, she whispered. You're afraid of what happens if the truth comes out. Belanal's throat bobbed. Dammy, please. Tell us, she insisted. But he didn't. He couldn't. Instead, he walked toward the door. Where are you going? Deli demanded. To the mechanic yard, Belanal said quietly, grabbing his keys. Before anyone else gets involved. But Damalola darted forward, blocking the doorway with a trembling rage that made even Eunice shift back. You're not leaving this house, she hissed. Not until you tell us what's inside that abandoned car. I can't, he whispered. Then I'm coming with you. He froze. Everyone watched. After a long moment he said, Fine. But once we get there, you'll understand why I couldn't tell you the truth. Damalola adjusted her wrapper, lifted her chin, and strode past him. You have 5 minutes to get into that car, Belanal. 5 minutes to open it. 5 minutes to show me what you've been hiding. Her voice was steel. Because if you don't, she raised her hand toward the family. They will all know everything I know by tomorrow morning. A hush fell. Belanal stared at his wife, hurt, terrified, and strangely resigned. Then he whispered, Dammy, once you see what's inside that car, your whole life will change. He opened the door. She stepped out. The rest of the family remained stunned, watching them disappear into the night. Then Eunice clutched her chest and gasped. Kai, what if what's inside that car is worse than the betrayal? Everyone looked at each other, fear and confusion swirling in the air. Because nobody, not Damalola, not the children, not the family, knew the truth. And the truth was bigger than infidelity. Bigger than betrayal. Bigger than any of them could imagine. But as the compound gate slammed behind them, something moved in the shadows outside. Something Or someone who had been watching, listening, waiting. And the moment Damilola and Belanal crossed the street toward the mechanic yard, a dark silhouette slipped quietly into the night behind them, following, tracking, waiting for the right moment. The moment everything would unravel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping stories like this. What do you think happens next? Comment below. Damilola's furious voice echoed through the dark Lagos road as she stomped ahead of Belanal, wrapper swaying, slippers smacking the pavement with righteous fury. Pedestrians turned to look. A Danfo driver even slowed down to stare, muttering, "Walla no day ever finish for married people." Belanal jogged behind her, breathless. "Dammy, please. Stop shouting. People are watching." "Let them watch," she roared, whirling around, her eyes blazing in the streetlights. "Since you've already disgraced me inside the house, what is small road disgrace?" He swallowed hard, face pale. "It's not safe to shout like this at night." "Safe?" she barked. "You only remember safety when it favors your lies." She spun around again and marched forward, leaving him scrambling to catch up. Up ahead, the mechanic yard loomed, low tin roofs, scattered tools, half-repaired cars lined up like wounded soldiers. A single lantern flickered outside the hut where the old mechanic usually slept. But tonight, the yard felt different. Too quiet. Too still. Too expectant. The silhouette that had been trailing them earlier melted into the darkness behind a parked bus. When they reached the rusted gate, Damilola didn't hesitate. She shoved it open with both hands, the loud screech slicing through the night. "Show me the car," she demanded. Belanal took a shaky breath and stepped inside. The mechanic yard smelled of oil, dust, and something faintly metallic. The moonlight cast long shadows across the scattered vehicles. And there it was. The abandoned car. A faded navy blue sedan with peeling paint, a cracked windshield, and vines creeping up one side. It didn't look like something anyone would care about, let alone inherit. Damilola frowned. This is what has been controlling your life. This useless, dead vehicle." Her voice dripped with disbelief. Belanal didn't answer. He simply approached the car, his shoulders tight, his walk slow, as if nearing something sacred or dangerous. She followed closely, watching him. "Belanal, what is inside this car?" He placed a trembling hand on the rusted door. "Before I open it," he said quietly, "I need you to promise me something." Damilola folded her arms. "I'm not promising anything. If I tell you what's inside, you must not involve the police. Not yet." She blinked. "Police? Belanal, what kind of inheritance is this?" He dropped his gaze. "Just promise." "No," she snapped. "I'm tired of protecting your secrets." He breathed out shakily. "Then I'll show you anyway." He leaned down, unlocked the driver's side door, and slowly, terrifyingly slowly, pulled it open. The hinges screamed. Damilola held her breath. The inside was dusty, old, smelled faintly of forgotten years. But then, she noticed something strange. A large padlocked metal box sat on the back seat. Her heartbeat quickened. "What is that?" "That," he whispered, "is the reason my cousin died." Damilola's mouth fell open. "What are you talking about?" He turned to her, eyes dark. "This box is what he spent his last year protecting. And what he told me never to let anyone open unless absolutely necessary." "Well," Damilola said sharply, "tonight is necessary." He jerked his head. "Dammy, listen. Open the box." He hesitated, rubbing his forehead again. He had done that all evening. "I swear I wanted to tell you earlier, but my cousin, he didn't trust anyone. Not even me. He said this box contained something powerful. Something dangerous." "Dangerous how?" "Weapons. Stolen money. Evidence." "What?" "Files. Bolanel murmured. Files. She grabbed his arm. You've been risking our marriage over papers? Not just papers, he said quickly. Documents about people. Men in high places. Officials. Names. Secrets that could destroy reputations. End careers. Cause investigations. Damilola went still. What kinds of secrets? Bolanel shook his head. Illegal businesses. Laundered money. Court case manipulations. Infidelity scandals. These were all things my cousin was exposed to in his work. What work? She asked. He looked down. She froze. Bolanel, what work was your cousin doing? He whispered. He was an investigator. For criminals. Damilola's eyes widened in horror. An informant. Yes. And you inherited his evidence stash? Yes. She stepped back slowly. Oh God. He reached toward her. Dammy, calm down. It's not what you think. It is exactly what I think, she snapped. You brought criminal evidence into our lives. Into our family. Into our home. I kept it away from the house, he insisted, pointing to the car. That's why I hid it here. But why sneak out? Why lie to me? Why let another woman call me and disgrace me? That part is complicated, he muttered. Damilola scoffed. I knew it. There's always more. She reached for the metal box. He grabbed her hand. Don't touch it. Why not? Because someone might be watching. The moment he said it, something shifted. A soft crunch of gravel. Damilola turned sharply. Who's there? No answer. Just the whisper of the wind. Bolanel stiffened. We shouldn't talk about this outside. Then take the box, she demanded. We're opening it at home. No, he shouted, louder than he intended. The house isn't safe. Safe from what? She shot back. From the people interested in what's inside. His words hung in the night like a curse. Suddenly, a shadow moved quickly behind the neighboring shed. Damilola gasped. I saw that. Someone is here. Dammy, he whispered. Get behind me. But she refused. I am not hiding behind you again. Not tonight. He moved toward the back of the yard cautiously. Who's there? He called out. Nothing. Then, clink. A metal tool fell over. Someone had bumped it. And was running. Hey! Bolanel shouted and took off after the silhouette. Bolanel, wait. But he was already sprinting toward the back exit. The dark figure darted across an open space, feet pounding the dirt. Bolanel tackled forward, but the silhouette slipped out through a broken section of fence and vanished into the night. Breathing hard, Bolanel returned to the yard. Damilola stood outside the abandoned car, eyes wide with dread. This is not normal. This is not small matter, Bolanel. He looked shaken. I know. She pointed at the metal box again. We need to open it. Not here. Then where? He hesitated. Finally he said, my cousin left a letter inside the dashboard. It explains everything. Let me get that first. He leaned into the car again. His hand searched the cracked dashboard compartment. Then he froze. Dammy. What? The letter is gone. Her mouth dropped open. Gone. He looked up, face pale as chalk. Someone was here before us. Meaning the shadow? Yes, he whispered. Meaning someone knows about this box? Yes. Meaning someone is after it? He nodded slowly. Damilola felt cold ripples across her skin. So what is inside must be more serious than you said. He didn't answer. His silence was confirmation. What exactly is in those files? She whispered. He closed his eyes. Names of people you cannot imagine crossing. People who can destroy entire families. People who... A loud bang behind them cut him off. They both spun around. The gate had slammed shut. But they hadn't touched it. Someone had closed it. From the outside. Damilola's heart hammered. Oh my God, they locked us in. Bolanel grabbed her hand. Dami. Listen. We need to take this box, hide it, and leave before anyone returns. She nodded shakily. Together, they lifted the heavy metal box out of the car. It weighed more than she expected. What if there's money inside? She asked. It's not money, he said quietly. It's worse. Worse than money. Yes. Evidence. Enough to destroy powerful men. Lightning cracked in the far-off sky. Lagos' humidity thickened. The air felt like trouble, like something bad was waking up. They carried the box toward the gate. Unexpectedly, the gate swung open. On its own. Damilola gasped. But it wasn't supernatural. Someone had opened it for them. A man in a hooded jacket stood there. Face hidden. Voice calm. Good evening, Mr. Bolanel. Bolanel's chest tightened. Who are you? The man chuckled softly. I think you already know. Damilola stepped closer to Bolanel. We're calling the police. No, the man said simply. You won't. And why not? She snapped. The man lowered his hood slowly, revealing a familiar face. Too familiar. Damilola gasped. You. Even Bolanel staggered backward. The man smiled coldly. We've been waiting for you to open that car, he said. And now, the time has come. He took one step toward them. Damilola grabbed the metal box tighter. Stay away from us, she warned. The man laughed. Oh, I don't want to hurt you. I only want one thing. His eyes dropped to the box. That. Bolanel shielded it with his body. Over my dead body. The man grinned. If you insist. A second shadow appeared behind him. Damilola whispered. Oh God. Bolanel. What have you dragged us into? Bolanel whispered back. Something I never wanted. The man raised a finger and pointed directly at the metal box. Give it to me, he said softly, or your entire family will face consequences you cannot imagine. Damilola's breath trembled. Bolanel's hands shook. The wind picked up. Something crashed in the yard. The moment stretched, a long, terrifying pause. Then, the man stepped forward, and everything went black. Wake up. Wake up before they come back. The scream sliced through the darkness and jolted Damilola upright before her eyes even opened. Her chest heaved. Her head pounded. And for a moment, she didn't know where she was. Cold concrete. Diesel fumes. Dim yellow bulb swinging from a broken ceiling fan. Her wrists tied. Her wrapper dusty. The scream came again, this time from right beside her. Dami, please. Open your eyes. It was Bolanel. Struggling against ropes. Face bruised. Fear in his voice deeper than she had ever heard in 18 years of marriage. She blinked rapidly, trying to steady her vision. Shapes formed slowly. A small, derelict room. Corrugated metal walls. Water dripping from a corner. A warehouse. Somewhere on the outskirts of Lagos. Her throat tightened. Where are we? Bolanel swallowed hard. Illa Samaja. I think. I heard one of them mention it. She gasped. They kidnapped us? Yes. And the box? He nodded toward the opposite side of the room. It sat on the floor, unopened, surrounded by 3 men guarding it with rifles slung casually across their shoulders. Before panic could consume her, the loudest of the guards barked. Oya, both of you keep quiet. The ogre is coming. Damilola's heart crashed against her ribs. Bolanel whispered desperately. Dami, listen. No matter what he asks, don't mention the letter. Don't mention what I told you. Say you know nothing. Footsteps approached. Slow. Heavy. Confident. The same hooded man from the mechanic yard stepped into the dim light. Only now, his hood was down, revealing his full face. Damilola choked on her breath. You. Her voice trembled with disbelief and betrayal. You were at our dinner table last month. In our house. Eating our food. The man smirked. What can I say? Hospitality runs in your family. Bolanel glared at him. Tund, let my wife go. She has nothing to do with this. Tund chuckled. Oh, she has everything to do with this. He walked slowly toward them, his boots echoing on the concrete. Your cousin, Tund said, tapping the metal box with his foot, owed us something. Something inside that box. He died before delivering it. And you, he pointed at Bolanel, became the new owner. Damilola spat on the ground. We don't know anything about your criminal business. Criminal. Tund raised a brow. Such a rude word. Let's call it business of survival. He crouched in front of Damilola, lowering his voice. Your husband has been hiding evidence we need. Evidence that could ruin men who pay us good money to keep them safe. Damilola leaned away from him. Why bring me into it? Why not just deal with him? Tund smiled wickedly. Because he jabbed a finger at Bolanel, is easy to break. But you. Strong wife. Loud wife. Wife who knows things. You will make him talk faster. Bolanel winced in humiliation. Damilola felt something shift in her chest. Resentment. Fear. Anger. And something sharper, resolve. Untie her, Tund ordered the guards. They obeyed. Damilola rubbed her wrists, glaring at them with fire. Tund tossed a small stool toward her. Sit. She refused. He shrugged. Have it your way. He turned to Bolanel. Open the box. No. Damilola snapped instinctively. Tund looked at her in amusement. Ah. So you do know something. She cursed herself silently. He snapped his fingers. 2 guards seized Bolanel, dragging him toward the box. Open it. Tund demanded. Bolanel hesitated. A guard slapped him across the face. Open. It. With trembling hands, Bolanel reached for the padlock. But then. He stopped. His eyes widened. The padlock was already open. Damilola gasped. Someone opened it. Tund's face darkened. Who touched this? His guards exchanged nervous glances. Tund kicked the box open. But inside, there were no documents. No files. No papers. Nothing. Just a small, leather notebook. Barely thicker than a passport. Tund lifted it slowly, confusion shifting into anger. What kind of joke is this? Damilola looked at Bolanel. Where are the documents? He stared helplessly. I don't know. Liar. Tund roared. He threw the notebook at Bolanel's chest. Tell me where the files are before I... A guard's phone rang. The guard stepped aside to answer. Tund paced impatiently. When the guard returned, his face was pale. Ogre, problem day. What problem? Ogre, dem say, another group don collect the real files. Silence. Cold. Heavy. Dangerous silence. Tund's jaw tightened. Which group? We know their name. But, dem say na the same people we saw at the mechanic yard. Damilola's heart dropped. The shadow that followed us. Tund whipped around to face her. You were followed by another group? We didn't know, she said quickly. Tund cursed loudly. This is a mess. A big mess. Now we have competition. Bolanel swallowed. Tund, please. Let my wife go. This isn't her battle. Oh, it is, Tund snapped. Because whoever took those files will come for you next. They know your cousin left them with you. Damilola's stomach twisted sharply. Tun's voice dropped into something cold. And they are worse than us. A guard approached. Ogre, police patrol Don past the junction. We need move. Tund cursed again. Fine. Take the wife to the van. Leave the husband with me. Damilola screamed. No. I'm not leaving him. 2 guards grabbed her. She kicked. Fought. Scratched. Bolanel. Do something. Take me instead. Bolanel yelled. Leave her. Tund lifted his hand. Wait. Everyone froze. Tund's phone buzzed. He answered sharply. Hello. Pause. His expression changed. Fear. Real fear. Into his eyes. Yes, sir, he said quickly. We have them. Yes, the couple. No, we didn't find the files. Long pause. Yes, sir. Understood. He hung up. His shoulders tensed. What happened? A guard asked. Tund took a deep breath. That was the owner of the files. The guard stiffened. The big ogre. Yes, Tund said quietly. He's coming. Damilola felt her blood freeze. Coming where? She whispered. Tund looked at her with something like pity. He's coming here. A guard panicked. But, ogre, he no day come field na. He is tonight, Tund said, his voice shaking. He said the files must resurface before sunrise. Or else. Tund didn't finish. He didn't have to. The threat hung in the room like a knife. Suddenly. The lights flickered. Went off. The room plunged into darkness. Damilola screamed. A gun cocked. Footsteps shuffled. Shouts erupted. Who turned off the generator? I know toucham. Check outside. Feet running. More shouting. A loud crash. A scream. A gunshot. Damilola's breath stopped. Bolanel. No answer. She felt around wildly for him in the dark. Her fingers brushed rope. Concrete. Empty air. Then. A hand grabbed her wrist. She jerked back, terrified. Dammy, a voice whispered urgently in her ear. Don't scream. It was Bolanel. She almost collapsed from relief. He handed it to her. You keep it. She tucked it under her wrapper. Then. A loud bang. The warehouse door exploded inward. Flashlights. Footsteps. A new voice boomed. Everybody down. Tund screamed. Oh God, it's them. Gunfire erupted. Damilola gasped. The room shook with chaos. Dammy, run. Bolanel shouted. She sprinted blindly into the darkness, heart pounding, the notebook pressed to her chest. Behind her. Men shouted. Fought. Gunshots rang. And then. Someone grabbed her from behind. Hand over her mouth. Pulling her backward through the dark. She kicked. Struggled. Tried to scream. But the voice behind her whispered coldly. Quiet. If you want to live. Her blood froze. She recognized the voice. A voice from the family dinner. Someone she had trusted. Don't fight me, the man whispered. I've been watching you both. And if you want to survive what's coming next, you must come with me. Now. He dragged her toward the rear exit. Just as a new wave of gunfire erupted behind them. Bolstered voices. Chaos. And Bolanel's voice. Dammy. She tried to turn. But the man pulled her harder. Don't look back, he hissed. You can't save him now. Her stomach twisted in terror. The notebook slipped in her hand. And as she was pulled out of the warehouse, she heard what sounded like Bolanel falling. Hard. Then silence. Complete silence. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping stories like this. What do you think happens next? Comment below. Damilola's voice tore through the damp night air as she wrenched her arm away from the man dragging her. They were outside now, behind the warehouse. Crickets screaming, generator hums echoing faintly from distant houses. The man raised his hands in surrender. "Dammy, relax. I'm trying to help you." "Help?" She backed away, shaking with fear and fury. "You kidnapped me from my husband." He stepped into a slant of moonlight, and her breath caught in her chest. Femi, her brother-in-law, Delhi's closest friend. A man who had been in and out of their family house for years, always laughing, always helping fix something. The same man who danced at Kemi's birthday party last year. The same man who hugged Damilola warmly whenever he visited. Yet now, his eyes looked colder, sharper, too alert. "Dammy," Femi said softly, "if I didn't pull you out, you would be lying on that warehouse floor right now, either unconscious or worse." Her voice shook. "Where is Bolanal? I heard him fall." "I heard." "Sure." Femi stepped closer. "I don't know. We were pinned down. Another group entered before I could find him." Damilola felt her chest tighten painfully. You were inside that warehouse too?" "Yes. But why? Why are you involved in this madness?" Femi ran a trembling hand over his face. "This isn't the time. We need to move." "No," she cried. "Not until you tell me what is going on. Why were you following us? Why were you at the mechanic yard earlier?" He hesitated. "Femi," she whispered, "if you do not tell me the truth tonight, I will never trust you again." He exhaled slowly. "Fine," he murmured. "But you need to prepare yourself." Her heart hammered. Femi looked around cautiously, then leaned close. "Your husband's cousin wasn't just an investigator for criminals. He was working for a private group. A group that tracks powerful men, politicians, businessmen, cartel middlemen, oil executives, people hiding dirty money." Damilola frowned. "So he was a spy?" "In a way," Femi answered. "He collected evidence. Files. Recordings. All stored in that car. And the metal box was supposed to hold the real materials. But someone else got ahead of us." Damilola felt cold all over. "Us?" Femi's eyes softened with guilt. "Yes. I was part of the group he trusted. He told me about Bolanal. Told me your husband was the only person he believed wouldn't be suspected." Damilola almost laughed. Hysterical, broken laughter. "My husband. The one who lied to me for months. The man who told another woman that I would be gone soon? That is the man your spy trusted." Femi winced. "I know Bolanal has made terrible mistakes. But he didn't choose this. It landed on him." She looked away, tears burning. "He still lied to me." Femi's voice softened. "About the files, yes. About the other woman." He hesitated. "That story is not what you think." She glared at him. "Don't defend him." "I'm not defending him. I'm telling you there is more to it." She wanted to scream. Wanted to hit something. Wanted answers that didn't twist her stomach into knots. "Femi," she said shakily, "what happened in the warehouse? Is my husband alive?" Femi looked toward the building. "If he wasn't alive, you would have heard more shots." She shivered. Then she remembered. The notebook. She pulled it out from beneath her wrapper. Femi's eyes widened. "Where did you get that?" "From the box," she said. "There were no files. Just this." He reached for it. She pulled it back sharply. "No. Nobody touches this again without explaining everything." Femi exhaled. "Fair enough. Let's go somewhere safe. Then we talk." "Safe?" she scoffed. "In Lagos. Tonight. I know a place." "No. I want to see my children. I want to go home." "You're home." Femi shook his head urgently. "Dammy, Listen carefully. Your house is not safe. Not tonight. Not until we know who took the real files. Her stomach dropped. You think they will come there? Yes, he said bluntly. Why? She whispered. Because whoever stole the files knows you and Belanel have been protecting something. They saw you at the mechanic yard. Her knees weakened. Femi held her arm. Let's move. We don't have much time. Damilola nodded weakly, and they hurried into a narrow alley behind the warehouse. The night felt heavier now. Lagos at 2 a.m. had a special kind of danger, quiet but watchful. As they moved, Damilola caught a glimpse of her reflection in a shop window. Her gelly gone, hair frizzed, wrapper dirty, eyes swollen. She barely recognized herself. They reached a corner and paused. Femi pulled out his phone. 2 missed calls. Both from Delhi. Damilola's heart clenched. Does the family know? Not yet, Femi said. I didn't answer. I can't get them involved. Damilola grabbed his wrist. They are involved. They saw us leave. They saw that strange man. They saw me fight with Belanel. They will already be suspicious. He sighed. Dami, your family cannot protect you from this. No, she said fiercely. But they deserve the truth. He shook his head. Not now. She clenched her jaw. I am their daughter-in-law. Their sister. Their mother. Their blood. I will not disappear into the night like some side chick your brother was hiding. Femi opened his mouth, then closed it. He couldn't argue with that. After a long moment he said quietly, let's get you somewhere safe first. Then we call them. They slipped through a narrow walkway between old shops and emerged onto a quiet road. A parked Okada idled there, the rider half asleep. Take us to Yoba, Femi ordered. Boss this time? You won go midnight crusade. The rider mumbled. Just drive, Femi said. Damilola climbed on behind him, clutching the notebook. As they sped through the sleeping city, the wind slapped her face, drying her tears. Streetlights flickered by in quick flashes, peeling billboards, barbershops, suya stands, closed kiosks, stray dogs. But why Yoba? She finally asked. Because someone there can read that notebook. What's in it? She whispered. Femi tightened his grip on the rider. If it's what I think, it's the key to finding the real files. And the people who stole them? Yes. And my husband? He hesitated. Before he could answer, the Okada stopped suddenly. Not because they reached their destination, but because another Okada blocked the road. Damilola's heart dropped. A man stepped off the second bike. Slowly. Deliberately. Not a random rider. Someone waiting for them. Femi, Damilola whispered. Who is that? Femi's entire body tensed. Stay behind me. The man approached. Tall. Broad shoulders. Expression unreadable. When he got close enough for the moonlight to catch his face, Damilola nearly stopped breathing. Her voice came out as a whisper. Colonel. Not a stranger. Not an enemy. Not a criminal. Her husband's older brother. Colonel. The man who rarely visited. The man who disappeared after a major family fight 6 years ago. The man who was not supposed to be anywhere near Lagos. He stared at Damilola. Then at the notebook in her hand. Then at Femi. Emotion flickered across his face. Anger, worry, and something darker. Colonel spoke quietly. Give me the notebook. Damilola froze. Femi stepped forward. Colonel, what are you doing here? Colonel's gaze hardened. Femi, I won't ask again. Give me the notebook. Damilola clutched it tighter. Colonel sighed, voice trembling slightly. Damilola, please. This is bigger than you think. I am trying to help you. She shook her head. Help me. Or silence me. His jaw tightened. Both. Femi stepped between them. Kunal, if you touch her. Kunal's face shifted, genuine pain, fear, and warning mixed into one expression. You don't understand, he said. You're walking into something none of you can survive. Then tell us what you know, Damilola demanded. Kunal shook his head. No. Not here. Then where? She snapped. He hesitated. Then he said 3 words that made her blood run cold. Bring her home. Femi stiffened. Her home. Kunal, that house is compromised. Kunal cut him off sharply. I said bring her home. That is the only place she will be safe. Damilola's breath caught. Safe from who? She whispered. Kunal looked at her with eyes full of unspoken fear. From the people your husband has been working with. Her stomach dropped. Working with what people? Kunal stepped closer. He didn't tell you, he whispered. Did he? She shook her head slowly. Tell me what? Kunal inhaled deeply. But before he could speak, a car engine roared behind them. Headlights flashed. A black SUV screeched to a stop. Doors flung open. Men jumped out. Tun's voice boomed. That notebook belongs to me. Damilola screamed. Femi grabbed her. Kunal stepped forward, fists clenched. Tun pointed at them. Take it from them. His men charged. Damilola felt her heart explode in her chest as she clutched the notebook and screamed. Eno. Kunal pushed her behind him. Femi swung at one of the men. And the SUV's back door opened again. A familiar figure stepped out. A figure that made Damilola's knees buckle. Her voice cracked. Bolanal. He looked wrong. Pale. Shaken. Eyes hollow. Clothes torn. But alive. He stared at her. Then at the notebook. And whispered. Dami. Please, don't give it to them. Tun snapped his fingers and shouted. Grab her. Men lunged. Kunal tackled one. Femi grabbed another. The Okada rider sped off in fear. Damilola stumbled backward, clutching the notebook to her chest. But before she could run, a hand clamped onto her arm from behind. Cold. Strong. Unfamiliar. She turned. And saw a face she never expected. A face she trusted. A face from her own family. And the person whispered into her ear, with chilling calm. Give me the notebook, Dami. If you want to save yourself. Her eyes widened in horror. You. Take your hand off me or I swear I will drag you to the gutter with me. Damilola's scream tore through the night as she spun around, jerking her arm free from the person who had grabbed her. And there, standing under the flickering streetlight, was the last person she ever expected to betray her. Her cousin, Beezy. The same Beezy who slept in her house when she was pregnant. The same Beezy who cried on her shoulder when her fiancé left her. The same Beezy who always called her Sister Dami. Yet now, her eyes were cold, her voice steady, and her hand extended, not in comfort, but in demand. Give me the notebook, Beezy said quietly. I'm not asking twice. Damilola staggered back. Beezy, you. What are you doing here? Beezy didn't blink. Collecting what doesn't belong to you. Behind them, chaos raged. Kunal fighting 2 men at once, Femi throwing punches with wild desperation, Tun shouting orders, and Bolanal standing frozen like a ghost among the living. But at that moment, Damilola only saw Beezy. Her own blood. Her own family. Why? Damilola whispered. Why are you involved in this? Beezy sighed, impatience flickering across her face. Dami, you married into a family way deeper in trouble than you realized. I warned you. You warned me about infidelity. Damilola snapped. Not this madness. Beezy stepped forward. Give me the book. No, Damilola clutched it to her chest like a newborn. Dami. A loud crash interrupted them, One of Tun's men slammed into a wall after Connell landed a brutal shove. Beezy's eyes darted back anxiously. We don't have time for this. Hand it over. What's in it? Damilola demanded. What does it have to do with you? Beezy exhaled sharply, then leaned in close. Your cousin Kola owed money, she whispered. Dangerous people. When he died, he left debts behind. That notebook could wipe everything clean. Damilola felt her stomach twist. So you're putting me in danger to pay off his debts? Beezy's jaw tightened. We do what we must to survive. No, Damilola said, stepping back. You do what you must. Not me. Not with my children's lives at stake. A sudden scream ripped from behind them. Get down. It was Femi. Damilola ducked instinctively as one of Tun's men swung a metal rod toward Connell's head. Connell dodged and countered with a punch that sent the man staggering. Tund barked. Enough. Bolanel, get your wife before she ruins everything. All eyes turned to Bolanel. Even Damilola froze. Her husband stared at her, defeated, torn, devastated. He looked like a man whose secrets were dragging him underwater. Dammy, he whispered hoarsely. Please, just give it up. Her heart cracked. You want me to give these people the notebook? She shouted. After everything? After tonight? I'm trying to protect you, he said, voice shaking. Protect me? She scoffed bitterly. You lied to me about your cousin's death. You lied about the car. You lied about the money. And you lied. Her voice broke. You lied about the other woman. Femi froze. Connell stiffened. Even Tund blinked. What other woman? Bolanel rasped. Damilola laughed. Hollow, painful laughter. The woman you promised a new life. The woman you told I would be gone soon. Bolanel's face crumpled. Dammy, that woman, she's not. Shut up, she screamed. I'm done with your stories. A sudden pair of hands grabbed her from behind. Beezy again. This time with force. Dammy. Give it. Damilola twisted, stomped Beezy's foot, wrenched her arm free, and bolted down the road. Damilola. Bolanel shouted. Men chased after her. Connell yelled. Don't let them get her. Femi sprinted after her too, but to protect, not attack. Damilola ran barefoot, wrapper flying, heart pounding like a drum. The notebook weighed heavily against her chest. The night air stung her lungs. Behind her, footsteps. Shouts. Tund roaring. Stop her. Beezy screaming. Dammy, please. And Bolanel calling her name, voice breaking from pain or guilt. She could no longer tell. She turned a corner. Another. Another. She didn't know where she was going. But she knew one thing. Nobody was touching that notebook tonight. Not until she understood everything. She burst into a small side street, panting. She ducked behind a kiosk selling recharge cards and small provisions. Her chest burned. Her legs trembled. She tried to catch her breath. Footsteps approached. She froze. Then heard a familiar whisper. Dammy. It's me. Femi. He emerged slowly, hands raised. No one else followed, he said. I lost them. She slumped against the kiosk, shaking. I can't do this. I can't run all night. I want to go home. I want my children. I know. Femi moved closer. But you can't go home yet. Why? She asked desperately. Because, he said carefully. Connell was right. Your house is compromised. Her eyes widened. Meaning what? It means someone inside your house has been feeding information. Someone who knew you would find the car today. Someone who wanted that notebook before you ever opened it. She swallowed hard. Who? Femi hesitated. Dammy. Do you trust me? No, she whispered honestly. Not fully. Fair enough. He extended a hand. But trust me enough to stay alive. Before she could respond, a voice floated from the darkness. Smart girl. Damilola froze. Tund stepped out from behind a parked Kiki Napep. Behind him were two men. Behind them, Cunnel. Hands bound. Face bruised. He struggled but couldn't break free. Femi cursed under his breath. How? Tund smirked. Did you really think you could outrun me on Lego streets? Damilola clutched the notebook. Don't touch him, she warned. Tund laughed. I don't want him. I want you. And what you're holding. He moved closer. Give me the notebook, Damilola, and I swear no one else will get hurt. She shook her head violently. No. I won't. My children. Your children are safe, Tund said, but they won't be if you keep playing hero. Femi stepped in front of her. Back off. Tund raised an eyebrow. You. Protecting her? When you're the one who lost the files in the first place. Damilola's heart dropped. What? She whispered. Lost. What files? Femi didn't answer. Tund smiled wickedly. Oh. He didn't tell you. Femi clenched his fists. Don't. But Tund continued. He didn't just work with your cousin Kola. He betrayed him. Sold his information to a politician who paid better. Damilola's mouth fell open. Femi whispered. That's a lie. Tund shrugged. Believe who you want. But your cousin died because someone tipped off the wrong men. And we all know who had access. Femi's face twisted with pain and rage. I would never. Enough talking, Tund snapped. Give me the notebook. But Damilola was done being terrified. Done running. Done trusting blindly. She lifted her chin and said, No. Tund's face darkened. Dammy. No, she repeated. You won't get it. Not tonight. Tund stepped closer. 1 step. 2 steps. Femi braced himself, fists up. Cunnel fought against his restraints, shouting, Don't touch her. But it was the next voice that froze everyone. A voice from behind Tund. A voice nobody expected. A voice soft but deadly. Touch my wife. And you'll regret it. It was Bolanel. Standing in the shadows. Face still bruised. Eyes red and wild. Tund turned. You. Boy, don't try yourself. Bolanel moved forward slowly. I'm done being scared. I'm done hiding. And I'm done letting any of you use my family. Tund scoffed. Your family. The family you were ready to abandon. Bolanel's face tightened in shame, but he didn't back down. Dammy, he said, voice trembling but firm. I know you don't trust me. I know I hurt you. But right now, you need to give me that notebook. Damilola felt dizzy. Everyone wanted this notebook. Everyone claimed to be on her side. Everyone had secrets. But Bolanel. The man who broke her heart. The man who lied. The man who cheated. The man who still wore his wedding ring. He looked desperate. Broken. Terrified. Not for himself. For her. She swallowed hard. Why should I? Because, he said, voice thick with emotion, I'm the only one here who actually wants to keep you alive, not because of the notebook, but because I still love you. Tund groaned. Oh, spare us this sentimental rubbish. Damilola shook her head. Love. You expect me to believe that after everything? Bolanel nodded slowly. I know you don't believe me. And you shouldn't. But you know me well enough to see when I'm telling the truth. His voice cracked. And right now, I swear to you, Dammy, if you give that notebook to anyone else, your life is over. The street went silent. Even the night breeze paused. Then, a single gunshot split the air. Everyone froze. And Damilola felt something warm splash across her arm. She looked down. Her eyes widened in horror. Someone had been hit. Someone standing right beside her. Blood dripped onto the notebook. She screamed, "No, no, no." But it was too late. The person collapsed, and the notebook fell with them, landing in the blood. As the street erupted into chaos, Damilola screamed again. "Who fired that shot? Who shot him? Show yourself before I burn this entire street down." Cunnell's roar shook the narrow road as he stumbled to his knees, blood streaming down his arm. It was his shoulder. He'd taken the bullet meant for someone else. The men holding him scattered instantly, panicked by the unexpected gunfire. Damilola dropped to his side. "Cunnell, stay with me. Please, stay with me." Her hands shook violently as she pressed her wrapper over the wound. Blood soaked through instantly. Cunnell winced. "Dammy, don't let them take the notebook." His voice was fading. Behind them, Femi and Tun's men scrambled into defensive positions, scanning the dark rooftops. "Tund," one of his men barked. "That shot didn't come from us." Tun's face tightened. "Then who?" Another shot cracked through the night. Everyone ducked. Glass shattered somewhere behind them, and a voice echoed across the street from an unseen corner. "Leave the woman alone." Damilola's blood froze. That voice wasn't familiar. It wasn't family. It wasn't friend. It was someone new. Someone who wanted the notebook just as badly. Someone who knew her name. Femi tugged her urgently. "Dammy, we need to move. Now." But Damilola's eyes stayed glued to Cunnell. "He's bleeding out." Belanal rushed to her side, grabbing Cunnell under the arm. "Help me get him up. We can't stay exposed." Tund barked orders to his men, fury boiling in his eyes. "Find that shooter." The street erupted into stomping feet, frantic whispers, and the distant hum of cars speeding away from danger. This wasn't a fight anymore. It was a war. And Damilola was holding the one thing everyone wanted. The blood-soaked notebook. They ducked into a narrow alley behind a row of locked shops. A broken security light flickered overhead, casting harsh shadows on their faces. Cunnell groaned as Belanal and Femi propped him against a wall. Damilola tore off another strip of her wrapper and pressed it to his shoulder. He hissed in pain. "Ah, slow, slow." "I'm sorry," she whispered, voice cracking. "You're doing fine," he muttered. "Better than most." Femi turned to Belanal. "We need to hide him somewhere safe." "No," Cunnell grunted. "I'm not going anywhere without that notebook." Damilola stared at it, still clutched in her trembling hand. "What's inside?" she asked again. This time, Femi didn't dodge the question. "It's names," he said. "Account numbers. Routes. Payments. Everything Kola tracked for 2 years." Belanal added quietly, "People inside Lagos government. Oil executives. Import-export cartels. Even police officers." Damilola felt her breath catch. So Kola wasn't just an investigator. He was exposing a network. "Not exposing," Femi corrected. "Controlling." He was building leverage. Power. Insurance. "And the real files," she whispered. "Tund has them," Belanal said. "But without this notebook, they're useless." Cunnell coughed, blood bubbling at the edge of his mouth. "Dammy, protect it. It's the only thing keeping you alive." Her hands trembled as she stared at the stained cover. This little book had destroyed Kola, endangered her children, torn apart her marriage, dragged her family into a war she didn't understand. And yet, it might be the only weapon she had left. The only thing that could turn all this chaos into justice. She swallowed hard. "What if I use it to destroy everyone chasing me?" Silence fell. Then Femi's jaw tightened. "Then you'll start a fire bigger than you can put out." "Or," Belanal murmured, "you'll free yourself." Their eyes met. And for the first time in hours, Damilola saw something she didn't expect. Fear. Real, bone-deep fear. Not of the men chasing them. Not of the shooter. Not even of losing the notebook. But fear of her. "Dami," Belanel said softly, voice trembling. "Listen to me. Whatever happens next, I'm with you." She blinked. "Now? After everything?" He nodded. "Yes. I didn't cheat on you. That woman wasn't what you think. I'll explain everything. Just not here." Her heartbeat stuttered. But before she could respond, a slow clap echoed from the mouth of the alley. All four heads whipped around, and a tall figure stepped into the flickering light. A man in a dark suit. Clean. Calm. Unbothered by the chaos they had just escaped. His voice was smooth, chilling. "Well done, Mrs. Damilola. You survived longer than I expected." Belanel stiffened. "You." Femi cursed under his breath. "Oh no." Cunnel tried to stand, failed, and slumped again. Damilola's eyes narrowed. "Who are you?" The man smiled faintly. "The one who owns everything Kola stole." Her spine tingled. "And now," he continued, taking a step closer, "I've come to collect what's mine." His eyes flicked to the notebook. Then to her. Then back to the notebook. "Give it to me," he said quietly, "and I will let your family live. All of them. Even the husband you think you hate." Damilola's heart raced. Belanel grabbed her arm. "Don't listen. He's lying." Femi stepped in front of her. "Over my dead body." Cunnel growled something under his breath. The man didn't even flinch. He raised his wrist. Clicked something. And headlights exploded behind him. Two black SUVs rolling into the alley, blocking the exit. She gasped. They were trapped. Completely. The man spread his arms casually. "It's over, Mrs. Damilola. Hand it over." Damilola looked at the notebook. Then at her husband. Then at the man waiting to destroy everything. She lifted her chin. "No." The man's smile faded. "Very well," he said coldly. "Then you have just signed your own." Before he could finish, a huge explosion shook the ground. The left SUV burst into flames. Men screamed. The alley filled with smoke. Everyone ducked as fire roared up the walls. And from somewhere behind the flames, a voice shouted, "Damilola, run." She spun toward the sound, eyes wide. She knew that voice. She hadn't heard it in years. But it was unmistakable. Her entire body went cold. "Mama. If you don't move right now, you will die here." The voice cut through the smoke and fire like a blade. Damilola coughed, eyes stinging, ears ringing from the explosion. Cunnel groaned beside her. Femi pulled him up while Belanel shielded her from the falling debris. But that voice she hadn't heard since childhood. "Mama," Damilola whispered, dazed. "How?" Another explosion, smaller this time, rocked the alley, and a section of the burning SUV collapsed. Through the flames, a silhouette appeared. Short. Sturdy. Wrapped in a thick scarf tied across her face, only her eyes visible. Eyes Damilola knew. Eyes that had scolded her, comforted her, warned her, and abandoned her. The woman gestured sharply. "Move." Belanel grabbed Damilola's arm. "Who is that?" She shook her head, trembling. I don't know." But she did. She knew exactly who it was. Only one woman on earth carried that tone of command wrapped in warmth and fire. The mother who left her at 13 and never came back. The mother who vanished into rumor and silence. The mother they all thought was dead. Yet here she was, alive, and apparently throwing explosives at criminal SUVs. Chaos exploded behind them. Tons men screaming, the suited man shouting orders, gunshots cutting through the smoke, but Damilola couldn't move. She could only stare. Her mother waved her arms again. "Girl, before I drag you myself, move." That snapped Damilola out of her trance. Femi slung Cunnel's good arm over his shoulder. We need to get out of here now. Bolanel pushed Damilola forward, urgency in every movement. Let's go. They followed the woman through a narrow passage behind the alley. Smoke drifted after them like a ghost. The air reeked of fuel and burning rubber. The woman led them into an abandoned compound, broken gate, cracked walls, overgrown weeds, and slammed the metal door shut behind them. Only then did she peel back the scarf. Damilola's breath caught. Mama. Her mother's eyes softened for a second, a fleeting second, before hardening again. You've grown, she said. Mama. You're alive? Damilola whispered. Her mother shrugged. Alive enough. Cunnel groaned and slid down the wall. Blood seeped through his shirt. Bolanel knelt beside him. We need to get him to a hospital. No hospitals, the mother snapped instantly. No clinics. No police. Unless you want all of Lagos to know where you are. Her tone was sharp, but her eyes flicked to Cunnel's wound with worry. Femi stepped forward. Who are you exactly? And how did you know where to find us? The woman ignored him and turned to Damilola. Where is it? Damilola tightened her grip on the notebook. You know about this too? Her mother's lips pressed into a thin line. That thing has been destroying our family for years. Give it here. No, Damilola said. Her mother blinked. Excuse me. No, she repeated, voice firmer this time. I've run from everyone tonight. I won't run from you. Silence fell like a hammer. The woman stared at her daughter, really stared, and something in her expression cracked, just barely. You look like your father, she murmured. Damilola swallowed. Then tell me why you left us. A shadow passed over her mother's face. That is not tonight's problem. Yes, it is, Damilola whispered. Everything is connected. You showing up tonight is not coincidence. Femi stepped closer. Ma, whoever you are, Tun's men will regroup. We need to know who we're up against. The woman folded her arms. You're up against men who kill first and ask questions at burials. That notebook is the only shield you have. And who are you? Bolanel asked quietly. Her mother met his gaze. A woman who made mistakes. And a woman who knows exactly what's inside that book. Damilola's heart pounded. Then tell us. Before the woman could answer, a loud metallic clang sounded outside the wall. They all froze. Another clang. Getting closer. Someone, or many someones, were climbing the compound fence. Cunnel tried to stand. Failed. Femi drew a shaky breath. They tracked us. Bolanel positioned himself between Damilola and the gate. We need to move again. Her mother cut him off. No. We stand. Femi stared at her. With what? You have explosives. Her mother smirked. Of course. But I wasn't talking about standing to fight. Another clang. Footsteps. Whispers outside. Her mother grabbed Damilola's hand suddenly. Warm. Firm. Urgent. If they get in, the woman said, you must do exactly what I tell you. No questions. Damilola swallowed hard. What do you need me to do? Her mother stepped closer, eyes burning with a mix of fear and fierce determination. Burn the notebook. Gasps filled the room. Cunnel struggled upright. No. Femi shook his head violently. Ma'am, do you know what's inside that notebook? I do, she said. Bolanel stepped forward. If we burn it, we lose all leverage. And you stay alive, the woman snapped. Damilola stared at her mother. If I burn this, everything ends? Her mother nodded. Yes. For better or worse. A hammering fist slammed into the compound gate. Everyone jolted. The attackers were seconds away. Damilola looked at the notebook. At her mother. At Bolanel. At Cunnel bleeding in the corner. at Femi struggling to steady his breathing. Then another crash hit the gate, harder this time. Her mother whispered urgently, "Damilola, choose." And the gate began to crack open. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping stories like this. What do you think happens next? Comment below. If you burn that book, you're killing us all. Connell's voice, weak but fierce, ripped through the cracking gate as metal screeched under the attacker's weight. Smoke, fear, confusion, everything pressed in at once. Damilola froze with the notebook clutched to her chest. Her mother stepped closer, eyes blazing. "Girl, listen to me. If they get that notebook, you will never see daylight again. Burn it." Belanal put a hand on Damilola's shoulder, voice shaking. "Don't let panic push you, Dami. Think. Your mother hasn't been in your life for 20 years. We don't even know why she left." A shadow crossed her mother's face. Guilt, grief, something sharp and buried. "I left because of that notebook," her mother said quietly. "Your father kept secrets you were too young to understand. Dangerous secrets." Femi flinched as a loud bang hit the gate again, this time bending the top hinge. "They're almost in." Damilola's heart thudded so loudly she could feel it in her throat. Why now? Why her? Why this notebook? Her mother gripped her chin gently but firmly. "Look at me." Damilola looked. "You've been running from betrayal, from lies, from men who used you. Tonight is the night you stop running. Trust me." The gate jerked violently. A hole tore open in the metal, and a hand reached through. Femi and Belanal shoved a cabinet against it, buying seconds. Inside her chest, something cracked. Fear. Anger. Longing. 20 years of unanswered questions. "Why didn't you come back for me?" Damilola whispered, tears welling. Her mother blinked, throat tightening. "Because I thought staying away would keep you alive." "From who?" Damilola cried. Her mother's eyes flicked to the notebook. "From the man who owned that book and the men he owed favors to." Another crash. The cabinet skidded. Connell coughed violently. "Dami, if you burn it, we lose evidence. With that book, we can expose all of them. Tun's crew, the corrupt officers, the money trails, everything." Belanal nodded. "It's our only leverage. They fear what's in it. That's why they're desperate." Her mother rounded on him. "And that's exactly why it must be destroyed. The book carries the names of men who would rather burn down Lagos than let it leak." Femi's voice trembled. "So what's the plan if we burn it? Hide forever?" "No," her mother said. "If we burn it, they lose the reason to chase you. They'll assume it's lost forever. They'll cut their losses and move on." The gate exploded inward with a thunderous roar. A whole section ripped free, crashing to the floor. Shadows moved outside. 5, maybe 6 men. Masked. Armed. Advancing. Damilola clutched the notebook tighter. Every voice shouted at once. "Burn it. Don't burn it. Dami, decide. Move now. They're coming in. Damilola, choose." Her heart pounded so hard she felt sick. Her mother pulled a lighter from her pocket and thrust it forward. Belanal grabbed Damilola's wrist. "Look at me. Remember everything you've survived. Don't give your power away now. The truth is your weapon." Connell weakly raised a hand from the ground. "Don't let them erase everything your father died for." Femi braced himself as the attackers shoved against the fallen gate. "Dami, either choice changes all our lives. But you have to choose now." Her mother's voice softened, breaking, just a little. "Damilola, please. Trust me. Just this once." The lighter flicked. A small flame burst to life. Outside, boots crunched on broken metal. A masked face appeared through the broken opening. "Found them." Her mother pressed the lighter into Damilola's shaking hand. "Burn it and live," she whispered. "Or keep it, and prepare for war." Damilola stared at the flame, stared at the book, stared at the people she cared about. Then, she made her choice. The flame moved, either toward the paper, or away from it. But before anyone could react, a deafening blast of gunfire tore through the night, and the attackers stormed inside. The flame flickered. The notebook slipped. And everything went dark again. The shout snapped Damilola back into consciousness. Her eyes flew open, dizzy, ears ringing, the world blurry. She pushed herself up from the dusty concrete floor of the abandoned compound. Chaos swirled around her. Armed men flooded the courtyard, shouting commands. Flashlights cut through the smoke. The gate hung off its hinges like a broken jaw. But the most terrifying thing. A masked man had Belanal pinned to the wall, gun pressed under his jaw. Another had Femi's arms twisted behind him. Cunnel, weak, bleeding, was dragged by his shirt like a rag doll. And at the center of it all, standing with both hands raised, her mother. "Leave them," her mother said fiercely. "I'm the one you want." The supposed leader, tall, broad-shouldered, eyes cold through the mask, stepped forward. "We want the notebook," he growled. "Where is it?" Damilola's heart stalled. She frantically searched the ground. There. The notebook lay inches from her fingers, half buried under rubble but still intact. And the flame from the lighter had died, which meant her decision hadn't been completed. The notebook was unburned, untouched, dangerous. Before she could move, a rough voice barked. "She's awake. Grab her." Boots thundered toward her. Damilola scrambled backward on trembling hands, knocking over debris as she crawled. Her lungs burned, her vision swimming, but adrenaline shoved her upright. She stood, wobbly, but standing. One of the armed men raised his gun. "Give us the book, girl. Now." Her mother's voice cracked like a whip. "Touch her and I swear on my mother's grave, you won't leave this place alive." "Shut up," the leader hissed, shoving her mother aside. "She has what we want." The man lunged for Damilola, but she grabbed the notebook first, held it to her chest, and the entire courtyard froze. Everyone knew what that book meant. Her mother stared, horrified. Belanal's eyes widened. Femi shouted, "Dammy, don't." Cunnel whispered, "Run." The leader stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Girl, be wise. That book contains things bigger than you. Bigger than your little family dramas. Bigger than Lagos itself." His tone was calm. Too calm. "The men named in that book," he said, "own half this city. They own the law. They own the government. They own us. And they will own you." Damilola swallowed. "If they're so powerful, why are you scared of this notebook?" The leader stiffened. She pressed further. "Why does a little book terrify giants?" "You don't understand what you're holding," he snapped. "Then explain it," she shot back. "Dammy, don't engage him." Belanal shouted, struggling against his captor. Her mother shook her head violently. "Damilola, listen to me. That book is not a weapon. It's a target. As long as you have it, you will be hunted." "But why?" Damilola cried. "What's inside? Tell me." Her mother's face crumpled. "Your father was investigating a network of men, politicians, businessmen, officers. Men who..." The leader roared. "Enough." He raised his gun, aiming not at Damilola, but at her mother. "No!" Damilola screamed. But before he could pull the trigger, Belanal twisted violently, elbowing the man holding him. The gun fired into the air. Two other attackers lunged to restrain him. The courtyard exploded into movement. Femi kicked his captor in the knee. Cunnel used the last of his strength to crawl toward a fallen metal rod. Her mother rushed toward Damilola. "Run!" But the leader was faster. He grabbed Damilola by the wrist, yanking her back so hard she nearly dropped the notebook. "You think you're brave," he snarled. "I'll show you what brave costs." He ripped the notebook from her hand. "No, no." She lunged for it. But he shoved her to the ground and opened the book, flipping through the pages, pausing, breathing hard. Damilola watched every muscle in his body tense. He found something. Something he didn't expect. His eyes widened behind the mask. And then, he tore one page out. Just one. Folded it carefully. Slipped it into his pocket. And whispered, "This is all we needed." Her mother froze. "No, what page did you take?" The man ignored her. He tossed the rest of the notebook onto the dusty floor. Then, he lifted his gun, pointed directly at Damilola, and said, "Since the original is ours now, you're no longer necessary." Gunshot. Flash. Scream. Smoke. But when the smoke cleared, the bullet hadn't hit Damilola. It hit someone else. Someone who had thrown themselves in front of her. Someone she never expected. Someone whose body now collapsed into her arms, bleeding, shaking, whispering her name. "Dammy." The courtyard erupted. The leader fled. The page was gone. And someone she loved was dying in her arms. Damilola's scream tore through the courtyard as she cradled the wounded body against her chest. Her hands trembled violently, slick with blood. It was Femi. Femi, who had always hovered at her side like a quiet shadow. Femi, who had never once betrayed her trust. Femi, who used his body as a shield without thinking twice. He winced, trying to breathe. I'm fine." "You're not fine," Damilola cried. Her mother ripped off her scarf and pressed it hard against the wound. "He'll live if we move now." But the compound echoed with distant sirens, growing louder. Bolanel stared toward the broken gate, panting. "They called the police. They're framing us. They'll say we attacked them." Cunnel, pale and swaying, shook his head. "No. They're not framing us. They're cleaning up their own mess. They want witnesses gone." Her mother grabbed Damilola's chin sharply. "Listen. Everything changes tonight. That page he stole, whatever it is, your father hid it for a reason. If it falls into the wrong hands, everyone whose name is on it dies. Including us." "But what was on that page?" Damilola whispered. Her mother hesitated. "Honey, that page was about a man your father trusted. A man who funded the network. A man who pretended to be a friend of the family. A man your father discovered was laundering money and trafficking power." "Who?" Damilola asked. Her mother swallowed. "Tun's father." Silence slammed into them like a punch. The betrayal wasn't new. It was generational. And the notebook wasn't just a list. It was a map of an empire. Femi coughed wetly. "We need to leave, before the sirens reach us." Damilola shook her head fiercely. "No. Not this time. They've been chasing us all night. Tonight, we turn around and face them." Bolanel's brows rose. "What do you mean?" She stood slowly, lifting the torn notebook, its pages fluttering in the night wind like wounded wings. "They want us silenced. They want the truth buried. But there's one thing they forgot." She looked around at all of them. Femi bleeding but alive. Cunnel leaning on the wall, refusing to fall. Bolanel steady beside her. Her mother, mysterious, flawed, fierce, finally by her side. "We're still alive," Damilola said. "And Lagos talks." Her mother's eyes widened with understanding. "Girl, don't tell me you're thinking." "I am." Bolanel caught on. "Dammy, are you sure?" She nodded. "If we can't protect the notebook, we release it." Cunnel blinked. "The entire thing? The whole world will know exactly who raised that criminal empire," she said. "No more shadows." No more secrets. They can't kill all of Lagos. Her mother stared at her, then, slowly, a proud smile broke through her fear. Your father would have been proud. They moved quickly. Femi, wincing, handed Damilola his phone. Use mine. It's the only one they didn't smash. She snapped photos, every page left in the book. Names, dates, transactions, locations, connections between powerful families. Then she did something none of them expected. She hit send to all. Every contact, every group chat, every alumni forum, every church choir group, every market women association, every WhatsApp status, every social feed. Thousands of people, hundreds of groups, dozens of Lagos circles. In seconds, hundreds of phones buzzed across the city. In 1 minute, screenshots were already being forwarded. In 5 minutes, the sirens slowed outside the compound. Not approaching, retreating, running. Bolanal exhaled. They know it's too late. Lagos has the story now. Kunal laughed weakly. You just took down a criminal network with WhatsApp. Damilola blinked tears out of her eyes. My father always said truth spreads faster than lies. Her mother pulled her into a shaking embrace. I'm sorry, Dami. I'm sorry I left. I thought disappearing would protect you. I didn't know it would make you face all this alone. You're here now, Damilola whispered. That's enough. Femi groaned softly. Can someone help me up before I bleed on the whole floor? They all hurried to lift him. Bolanal supported his right side. Kunal steadied the left. Damilola wiped her eyes and turned toward the open gate where the night breeze drifted in. Lagos didn't feel hostile anymore. It felt awake. Sirens echoed in the distance. Phones buzzed everywhere in the city. Men in high offices would not be sleeping tonight. Justice, clean, public, undeniable, was already underway. Her mother touched her arm. What now? Damilola looked up at the sky. Dark, smoky, but opening. Now, she said softly. Now we live. Now we heal. Now we rebuild. Femi cracked a smile through the pain. And now we get jollof. I'm starving. They all laughed. Broken, wounded, relieved. For the first time in years, Damilola felt whole. Not because the danger was gone, but because the truth was free. And the truth was enough. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping stories like this. What lesson did you take from this story? Comment below.